I have my notes here.
Fantastic.
This time I prepared. Oh, I need to change.
Need to change?
Yeah?
He's going to put his hat on, isn't he?
Oh, of course. Yes.
I mean, I have a Niamachi shirt freshly washed. I'll just put that on.
Oh, good. Nice. But hello, yes, welcome back to Go Again Gaming, and welcome to Bravo Bros, episode 2. And a main topic today is going to be the hammers that you can use. So obviously we're going to be speaking about those, the sort of pros and cons of each one, and yeah, just going through what they're good at, where they could potentially see play, and all that sort of good stuff, and the theme and flavour of it as well. So welcome again to everybody who's watching this now and in the future, and welcome to the guests as well, the permanent guests of this show. Pascal, how's it going?
Good. How about you?
Yep, not bad at all. Just got back from playing a bit of football or soccer for the American listeners. It's a little bit sweaty, that's why my hair's all over the place. But I don't shower before this podcast, you see, so it makes me more bravo-y, you know.
Gosh, perfect.
So yeah,
Oh, man.
there's an insight for you. So yeah, I'll be doing that after this. Tom, how's it going?
Would have been better if I'd not known about the shower thing.
Sweaty ass, literally, as and ass.
I was thinking like my hair's a bit of a mess, but I have like barely any hair, so
Oh, I
it's
could
fine.
get away with it. Yeah. Pros and cons.
Yeah, all right. Otherwise, all right. Just plodding along, living that dream.
Fantastic.
Living that dream. Playing a lot of Bolton, if that makes anybody feel any better.
Yeah, I listened to your podcast recently. That's interesting. Bolton series when?
Oh, don't. My advice to anyone: don't just find a draw my list, not play it, and then take it to an armory, and then sit there and wonder why you didn't do very well. That's my life. That is.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
Should have played Bolton.
Should have played Bolton. Is it traditional Boomina stuff? Is it? Or...
Yeah. I do have the rain stuff as well, which is pretty, but I don't like it. I just want to Exodia obliterate.
Yeah, pretty much.
Slash at you with swords. That's all I want to do. Don't care about anything else. It's like Wizard, doesn't matter. Still playing the same strategy. Guardian, still playing the same strategy. Doesn't matter. Don't care for win or lose. I just want to hit all 3 Luminar Ascensions and come screaming at you.
Yeah. It's deadly. Yeah. It's deadly. What about you, Pat?
Bravo, though. We're talking about Bravo.
Absolutely, yeah. Bravo. And I think there's... but by the time you probably see this as well, it might be old news, but Pascal, you mentioned about the... Was it the Battle Hardened?
It was the Battle Hardened in Bologna.
Yeah.
On Saturday, the final was between Oldhim and Bravo.
Oh.
And Oldhim was actually a good friend of mine, Fedir, who
nice.
Who will be flying with me to Baltimore for the Pro Tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
nice.
we both qualified for the Pro Tour. He on Oldhim, I on Bravo, and
nice.
He went to final at Baltimore, not at Baltimore, at Bologna in the Battle Hardened, and also went, I think, top 4 or top 8 in the PTI event on Sunday, also in Bologna.
Oh, nice.
So he's on the run.
Was that Oldhim as well then? For that as well, PTI as well.
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
You do know what you need to do now, don't you? Are you like sitting next to each other on the plane?
No, that would have been like. That would have been like 200.
Going.
That would have been $200 more just to be able to sit next to each other.
Yeah.
You should just be like all the way there on the plane. It's like, so I don't know if you know this, but I heard that Bravo beat Oldhim in the finals of Bologna. I don't know if you heard.
Yeah.
Crazy, huh? Crazy.
How long was it game? How long was the game? Like the final? I haven't watched it.
It was okay. It was about like 40-50 minutes.
It was a good length. Yeah. What you'd expect, really.
Yeah. And on the PTI event, even there, also there, a friend of mine did win against Pablo Pintor.
Okay.
With his Icelander list against Pablo's Fi.
Oh.
So
he didn't do very well though, did he? I don't think.
I mean, he did bad at the Battle Hardened, as far as he said. But he did well on the PTI event on Sunday. He was in the final, against my friend
Oh, nice.
Julian. Yeah. So yeah, maybe this other friend will also be coming to Baltimore. He's not sure if he wants to wait with his PTI for Worlds or if he wants to also come to Baltimore.
That's fair enough. Nice.
Yeah.
You got a lot of top tier friends there, Pascal. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Are they all from Switzerland as well then, or?
Fedir is actually in Switzerland at the moment, but he's originally from Ukraine.
Okay.
He had to escape from there for
Oh, right.
obvious reasons.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So yeah, now he's studying in Switzerland.
Nice.
Nice, fair
Fantastic.
play.
Yeah, nice one. And yeah, Bravo obviously won that event as well. And I haven't seen it, so for people that might not have seen it, who are watching this maybe from a beginner level or other levels of Bravo, how did that go? How did Bravo win that game? Because obviously we know Oldhim at the moment is very horrendous to play against. So how did he win? Anything different that hasn't been seen yet? Any sort of spice in there at all? Or
Not really.
no?
The well-known
Dominated
strategy
crippling crush.
of dominated crippling crush.
Oh, was it classic? Lovely.
It was also the finishing attack was dominated crippling crush for the last 2 or 3 hit points, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. They when the stream started though, they'd already been going at it at least one turn because Oldhim was on 39 health and Bravo was on 40, and the first thing you saw Bravo do then was a dominated crippling crush.
What, straight away?
Yeah.
Dominated crippling crush.
Straight away.
Turn two when the stream started, dominated crippling crush.
Yeah.
right into it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
With dominated crippling crushes, do you try and get them off as much as you can, or do you just, like when you see the opening for a dominated crippling crush, or do you try and time it for something that you might see on the opposing side? What do you do with that? Do you always try and get it off?
I mean, if you just have a natural crippling crush, you can dominate. Most of the times, it's better to just play it.
Just throw it. Yeah.
Yeah. Except if the opponent has like a very nuts turn on that turn, you can just block out hammer and then arsenal the crippling crush. But most of the times it's the best thing to just throw it out.
Yeah.
Because the things you want to wait with, like example against Briar, where when the channel mount turn is there, it's better to have a choke slam, so channel mount doesn't really pump your attacks.
Yeah.
So crippling crush isn't as niche as other crushes, so most of the times it's fine to just throw it out, but also if you have like 2 crippling crushes, it's also good to just pitch one in order to have one for the late game, otherwise you will be burnt out in the late game.
Yeah. Just one of those lines that just says I'm taking the tempo, isn't it? Just I'm taking your turn away sort of situation. So I guess you always want to play it when you can.
Mostly.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Nice.
Cool. I was actually thinking at first, like when the stream first came on and that was the first thing, I kind of sat there going, is that really the right thing to do straight away? And I thought,
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
I'd do it straight away.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what?
Cool.
I'm doing it.
Just throw it when you
it.
can. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but other than crippling crush, Bravo also has abilities other than crushing, namely using hammers to swing.
Look at that! Look at that segue by Pascal there. Whee! And a lot of people would argue as well that certain hammers, which we'll get to, is the crux of the deck. Is something that you lean on is just an Othos for 6 or whatever. We'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, I mean, Guardian is one of those heroes that has obviously. Well, I speak from Ranger experience. Ranger doesn't have a weapon that they can swing with, but obviously with Guardian, you always have an attack on board, which I think is nice, which we'll go into. So, where do you think is the best place to start with hammers, then? Obviously speaking
I think the best part, or the best thing to start with on this episode is with the weapon that we never use.
Yeah.
Talishar.
Fantastic. Oh, wow. Brilliant.
It costs what? It costs 2 to activate, swings for 4, and that only for 3 times. That's not good.
No, that's not good. But I'm glad we covered it anyway.
But you can't pummel it, so why even bother?
That's true. Yeah. Any argument for running Razor Reflex in the list if you're using Talishar for the extra +3?
God damn it, no.
No.
only one target, your weapon. If it's broken, your razors don't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god.
I suppose
Okay.
you could use it on Enlightened Strike.
You could, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only card you can actually use it on.
Yeah.
It's too niche. And
Well.
second, I want to talk about another weapon that Bravo can't use.
Yeah.
Winter's Whale. Oh wait, Alton can't use it either.
That's true.
But this is on my honourable mentions, because I have done a little honourable mentions thing myself.
Yeah.
Winter's Whale is on there. Bravo may not be able to use it, but Bravo Star of the Show can use it.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely,
if
yeah.
you're in the future watching this, and you're about to take part in that living legend format, Winter's Whale is the hammer for you, my friend.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, Winter's Whale is, I think, by far the best hammer that exists if you are able to use it with your hero.
Yeah.
I don't think that we need to discuss about there anything because
No.
it always swings for 4, is one hand that you can use Rampart or Stalagmite on top of that, and you also create Frostbites. So that's just insane.
That's vile. Yeah.
Okay, and now I would segue to the actual hammer that we can use, but in my opinion is like the worst hammer to use, for Bravo at least,
Yeah.
would be Sledge of Endelheim.
Boo.
Only on a competitive level though,
Yeah.
when you play 1v1. If you're playing Ultimate Pit Fight or PvE, I think that will be a whole different story because I think in those formats, a Tunic Bravo is actually a good thing to play in those formats.
Yeah.
And can also be very much fun, like you already proven.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's great fun. That's what I started with Sledge because of the fact that it's just this massive two-handed mace that swings for 6. You know, I've got a few points that we can flash up on the screen here as well. So the first one is exactly that. So it's a weapon on board that swings for 6 right off the bat. It costs 4 to activate, so that's quite a lot to activate. In Bravo as well, you're going to have a lot of blues, so you're going to have to pitch, you know, at least 2 cards to it most of the time, unless you've got a Tunic trigger available to you. So if you're using Tunic in Bravo, it's an interesting thing because obviously you want to be using the tectonic plating, which we discussed on the last episode. That's the main piece, isn't it, most of the time?
Yeah, for Bravo, yeah.
With this sort of weird janky build, sometimes you can get a line where you're effectively pitching a blue plus the Tunic to swing for 6, which I think is quite good, but it only comes up every so often. But yeah, the six attack on board is interesting because the only other thing that has that on board is Levia's weapon.
The Hexagore.
Yeah.
But there's the we both pointed out there's the caveat to that until you've got 6 blood debt you take damage.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I mean it's 2 to play, which
That's right.
is nice.
It's pretty nice.
But
yeah,
do I want to be taking damage?
Yeah, that's it.
What I want to add to Sledge of Endelheim, I hate this weapon because it is very effective against Bravo.
Yeah.
If you're an Alton and
is.
want to beat Bravo, use Sledge. Don't use Titan's Fist or even Winter's Whale if you're living in the past.
Yeah.
Because
Or Blitz?
or Blitz, yeah, or Blitz, yeah. In Blitz you will also run Sledge of Endelheim against Bravo because it has continuously is able to put pressure on the opponent. And the fun thing is, if you are very fancy, you can just build a deck that attacks twice per turn with Sledge because it's just an action pay for attack. If you ever go again, you can use it again.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a funny thing, isn't it? Yeah, there's a few things you can do with it with regards to that, because obviously that's another. Is there any other weapon in the game that says just action attack, or is it all once per turn actions?
I think the gun from Dash is also just attack.
Oh yeah,
Yes, I
that's
think
right.
it's just because you can keep giving it go again, can't you? With the
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God, yes you can.
Chambers.
Andrew Mason, if you're listening to this, you absolute degenerate man. Bloody pistol dash
Pew,
induction
pew,
chamber.
pew,
Yeah,
pew.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like a stormtrooper can't hit anything.
Can't hit anything, no. Especially if you're playing against Oldham.
It's funny you say that though about the Sledge against Bravo, because I'm going to go back to it, the Flesh and Common Blood League, they ran the Holiday Brawl event, which was just like an elimination event. I was in the final against Jeffo, and he was playing Bravo. I was playing Oldham, as we know, and I made the swap. I was like, went in with Sledge, and even he was like, "You're playing Sledge," and I was like, "Oh yes, sir. Yes, I am."
Yeah, absolutely. But wait, Sledge is rare, so you're allowed to have rare equipments in Commander?
True.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. That's definitely one slot to use there.
Oh yes. I was like, I'll just do it. And he's like, oh, he swapped from Anothos to Titan's Fist and Shield. I was like, wouldn't have bothered.
Yeah, okay.
Nice.
Let's roll.
Yeah. Fantastic. I mean, I've got a few little statements and little points that I've made about Sledge, because obviously it's the only thing I've used so far, which I think is quite cool to a certain. It might not be competitive, but obviously we can touch on why it's not competitive in a moment after I've just sort of gone through these bits. But yeah, as you said, the action part doesn't say once per turn action, so you can swing it as many times as you like. So a few janky things: you can crack a time snap potion. And you can swing twice if you pitch 3 blues. So you can crack the time snap potion, pitch 3 blues, and attack twice with Sledge. Lovely old job. So that's 12 damage, but obviously takes a lot of setup. And obviously you can crack the other thing as well on board, time skippers, which is exactly the same thing. So you crack it. I think it costs 3 to activate. So
it costs 3 to activate.
So you need 4 blues in hand to be able to crack off 12 damage.
You need 3 blues and 2 yellows. That's already enough.
Okay, yeah, all that sort of composition. Yeah. But yeah. So I thought that was quite interesting, the fact that you can go like this weird sort of time traveling Bravo, where you just crack these time skippers and just take extra turns with your Sledge, which I think is quite good, quite cool.
Yeah.
Another thing I thought was quite cool as well is you can pitch 2 blues, and then you can swing the Sledge and then use a pummel over the top of it, so you can essentially simulate 8, 9, or 10 damage from 2 blues. No discard effect, obviously, because you're swinging a hammer. The pummel, obviously.
But most people, even in pro quests and so on, will try to still discard cards if you pummel them on a hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's always like, okay, can I choose the card I need to discard through pummel? I was like, no, you can't, because you don't have to discard anything.
Yeah. It's just autopilot, isn't it? You always think you're just going to discard.
Yeah, exactly.
You're always considering the worst.
I think that would probably be the more common, because I appreciate what you said about the time skippers thing, but that's jank of jank, isn't it? I think if you're more likely going to hit the pummel, to have the 2 floating and just be like, have I got it? Yeah. And then you probably don't got it, but they'll block anyway. They should do.
But then even saying that, you know, that's why I deem it to be cool. You know, it might not be competitive, but you're essentially never spending a card. You're always pitching into your weapon, which is what I've never grasped that concept before, because I'm always loading arrows, which are attacks, which are obviously going to the bin afterwards. But with weapons, your cards never go away. You're just constantly swinging at them and pitching the stuff to do so. So yeah, I think that's quite cool. And the sort of the statement that I did to sort of wrap the Sledge up in my mind was ultimately having a permanent 6 attack on board available to you by pitching 2 cards maximum lends itself to a turtley strategy, where you want to grind to the late game until most of the big threats of the opponent are gone, and then you can consistently threaten 6 damage from 2 cards, or even 1 card if you have a tunic available to you. So that was my sort of perception of why I thought it would be quite good. But from a competitive standpoint then, obviously throwing this over to you, Pascal, because obviously you play very competitively, why would you say that this is the worst hammer then, in that case?
You can't attack with just the blue. If you need to block out lots of attacks from the opponent, and you have 1 card left in hand, you're not able to attack with the normal Bravo build, because tectonic plating the blocks and also the pitch preservation for the next turn is so good, so you don't want to miss that, and then you're not able to attack. And also, the pummel strategy is way better with Anathos. You can
Yeah.
For example, you have 1 card in arsenal, 2 cards in hand. You pitch a blue to attack with Anathos for 4.
Yeah.
And then they need to expect that you have another card that costs 3 and pitches for blue or yellow that you can pitch for pummel. And if it's a red pummel, you will go from 4 to 10 damage
Right. Yeah.
in the reaction step. Because even if you pitch a card for pummel, it's on the pitch zone, and if Anathos is still attacking, he still gets the boost from its own effect. So he gets +2 and +4 through pummel, so it goes to 10. And this alone is so sick. You can just swing without having a pummel on hand, and if your opponent is on 4 or something like that, he needs to block out really well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he potentially just dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've actually won an online armory game. You doing that? Literally, swung for 4. He just went, I'll just block with 1 card, and I was like, okay, pitch for pummel, goes to 10. He was like, he even said after the game, I knew you could do that, and I still didn't prepare for it.
Well, the thing is, on some point they can't play around it. If they block it out, they don't have any turn. So, and you can just do it next turn again and again and again. So they need to just ignore it. If you don't have it, it's their luck. If you have it, they lose anyways. And I gotta say, in the last Pro Quest where I qualified for the Pro Tour, I did win 2 games like that.
Wow.
Last damage, Anathos pummel, and 3 matches are won by just slamming out Macho Grande with 8 dominate.
Macho Grande.
I underestimated this card so much. It's so bonkers.
Yeah.
It is a good card. I do like Macho Grande.
Yeah. Sweet. I mean, obviously we'll get to Anathos in a moment, but that makes a load of sense as to what you said there. It's almost like you're in a perpetual loop of I need to block with everything because you can combat trick me for 6.
Exactly.
Which is vile. Which is vile.
Respect the pummel.
The pummel. Yeah.
And with Sledge, you have to show them 1 more card, so you have to pitch at least 2 cards to attack. So you can't just keep 2 cards in hand. You need to pitch 2 cards, so they know if you pitch with a yellow or with a red as a second card, they know, you won't be able to pummel me. But if you they just have the threat if you pitch 2 blues, and with Anathos you can just pitch 1 and the threat is always there.
Okay, yeah. So then just lastly on Sledge, then you said that you'd run Sledge against a mirror match?
No, just on Ultim against any other Guardian. If you're on Ultim and playing against Ultim or Bravo, you use that. On Bravo, I wouldn't use it because we don't use we don't use neither Crown of Seeds, Rampart nor Tunic. So it's not that effective.
Yeah.
Rampart doesn't matter at all because Sledge is two-handed. But you can do some combat tricks with Crown of Seeds in your own turn to get more effectiveness out of the pitch, to get more cards. You can't do that with Bravo, and also every 3rd turn you just swing with 1 blue and ult him because Tunic is the best chest piece Ultim can use. So on Ultim it's very good in the mirror match or in any control-ish matchups. I'd also use it against Brute maybe.
Yeah.
Because
because Brute probably only attack him 1 attack, 2 attacks, but they're intimidating your hand anyway. So
exactly.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, ultimately just gravitated towards it because it's a big massive Sledge. As my experience grows, obviously.
And it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and Anvilheim sort of
cracking.
Yeah, exactly. And Anvilheim suggests to me that that's like a sort of forge or something. That the Guardians, the Guardian lore as such, maybe might go there in the future. Anvilheim sounds sick. But yeah, moving on from the Sledge. What do you think the next best place to go is?
Titan's Fist.
Titan's Fist. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cost 3 to attack, like most of the hammers. Swings for 3 or 4. Has a similar effect like Anathos. If you pitch a card that costs 3 or more, it will get +1, which is 4. And the only good thing about this next on top of Anathos is you can use a shield. You can play
Offhand.
Titan's an offhand. I'd say most of the time Rampart or maybe Arcane Lantern, depending on the matchup.
Yeah.
Normally I wouldn't use that at the moment in the current meta. I did use it every time when I played against Chain to just fatigue him out, because that's the only thing you can do against Chain. But I think since Chain is gone, I don't see the necessity of playing it, because you need your card for disruption in the current meta, which is way more effective against the current aggro decks, because you can take out some cards from hand. You couldn't really do that against Chain, because he had just so many cards in hand with Spanish.
He had a
and
second
block that.
hand, didn't he?
Exactly. So you can just forget about that. Just block everything you can against Chain. So I think in Blitz it's even worse, because Winterswell exists and Bravo isn't really a great deck in Blitz, and in Commoner I think you won't use that because you don't even have Rampart. I mean, the best thing you can use there is the not the season savior, the Steelblade Buckler, which has yeah. But I don't think that this is so much better than Anathos in Commoner. Maybe you can...
As I said, Jeffo played it against me, which I did think was very, very strange when it was there. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool, but I'm not really sure why you're playing it, because
Captain Bravo.
I mean, I dig Captain Bravo because I know how effective it was against Chain, but I think in the current meta it's just not necessary. There will be a time where it will be good again, I think, but at the moment, not really.
So what was Bravo using against Chain then? Titan's Fist and Rampart.
Yes, exactly.
Oh right, okay.
And Chain had the problem, if the Chain player wasn't very, very good, he had like 2 or 3 times where he just breaks the combat chain for a non-attack action that gets you go again and so on. Like Moving Skies or Shadow Puppetry or something like that. So you could block like 1, 2, and then 3 damage a turn with Rampart, which was so much value. So it would be dumb to not use it, but at the moment it's not necessary anymore because Chain is gone.
I just need to refresh myself on what Rampart does. So it's like a consistent way of blocking, is that right? It just refreshes it.
Yeah.
When you use it to block, you pay a resource and it gets +1 block, basically.
You may pay a resource to give it +1.
I see. Okay, right.
And if you block the first time, you can get it to up to 1.
Yeah.
If you block the second time at the same turn, it can go up to 2.
Oh, right,
You don't need to. You can also just block for 1 if you want. And when you block the third time, it can go up to 3, 4, 5, and so on.
Oh, geez. So, so the more they break the combat chain, the more that +1 effect is going to stack. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if they break the combat chain, it isn't really useful to even attack, because at the third time, it mostly blocks out many of the aggro deck go-again cards with 3, so why even bother attacking if you just get blocked by shield? Yeah.
That would be a cool card, like in the future. Like if you block with a shield, break the combat chain. That would be a cool card, because then you could.
That would be very good.
Then you could. That would be like sword.
That would be nuts.
Like hammer and shield guardian build. We've seen it in Dynasty, like the shield matters situation. So maybe there is going to be more support for the hammer and shield sort of style flavor. But yeah, that's cool. That never occurred to me, because I've never played it. You see, so that interaction never occurred to me until now. That it stacks as the combat chain gets broken, which is cool.
Because it's to the end of the turn, isn't it? It gets +1 block to the end of the turn, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just like for that attack. If it was for that attack, it wouldn't be as good.
Yeah,
because it's the end of the turn.
That's the thing that you can use against item dash to just block out everything and still swing back.
Oh yeah, because they break the chain every time they put the steam counter on it.
Yes.
I see. Yeah, it makes sense now. That's cool. Literally just pure Wonder Woman just stood there with the shield like this, just blocking all the bullets.
Exactly.
That's quality.
I think now we need to talk also. We need also to talk about the best hammer that there is for Bravo.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go. Good segue.
Yeah.
I know what this
If you
one. I
did
know what
that,
this
it's
one's
Winter's
called.
Whale.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
Bravo, showstopper.
Showstopper. Oh, okay.
Yeah, showstopper.
And this is the hammer. This is the hammer he's holding in his art as well on his card.
Exactly.
So this is his signature weapon as such.
Yeah, it's a 3-cost weapon attack that swings for 4 or 6. If you have 2 or more cards that cost 3 or more in your pitch zone, it gets +2, so it goes up to 6. And I think it's very versatile because most of the time you're able to swing with 6. You pitch 1 blue for Seismic Surge token, pitch another blue for attacking with the hammer, having 2 floating, threatening the pommel, which is also a mind game in itself.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's also easy to just swing for 4 and after that pummel it to up to 10 in the reaction step to maybe, if they don't think about it, just sneak in some damage. Or if they think about it and you don't have it, they overblock.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we did talk a lot about Anathos while talking about the other hammers, so I don't think we need to go in depth on this one. The strategies are pretty simple, and we also need to talk about offhand cards
Yeah, definitely.
in this episode.
Yeah, I mean the main line is pitching a blue into the seismic surge generator, which is the tectonic plating, which leaves you with
Exactly.
what? Which leaves you with what floating?
With 2 floating.
2, and then you pitch another blue into the hammer, and then you swing for 6,
Exactly, and still have 2 floating.
and then still have 2.
Oh no.
Oh right, yeah, you
the
still have
pool.
2 after that as well. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you do the
respect
same as you
Yeah.
do the same as you did with Winter's Whale, not with Winter's Whale, with Sledge of Envelheim, but you get a Seismic Surge token on top of that. That's the big difference.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because in other formats, like, well, let's say other formats, like Commoner, you don't have Tectonic, so you just use Bravo's ability instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also a possibility. That's what I had to do with my Sift Bravo build where I played Earthly Bound. It felt so bad.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to pitch for Bravo's ability, and then I'm going to swing the hammer. It's like, oh, okay.
So many people just block with 1 card then because they don't realize that ability is only on attack action cards, not on weapon.
Not on
attacks.
the weapon. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's their own fault.
Yeah, it's wrong fault.
I caught you out there, sir.
If you do that on a competitive event, you don't need to tell them. If it's just an armory, I'd say, hey, just for your information, you can block with 2 cards if you want. Yeah.
Block it
On a
out if you need
competitive-
to.
Yeah, on a competitive level, I won't say anything. I'll just write down 3 damage and that's it. So, off to my favorite offhand.
Favorite offhand.
Yeah. Arcane Lantern.
So you
It's a
actually
good offhand.
Yeah, it's good offhand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good offhand. If you're playing Captain Bravo,
Yeah.
put that in your deck because it's a free arcane barrier and all the wizard players will hate you.
Yeah, AB4 will put a...
AB4 is pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you mean
Put a sad face on Kano. Sad face.
Or you can also just go AB3 and still use your head equipment for the extra sync of Crown of Providence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this sort of fits in 'cause obviously we touched on the one-handed hammers, and obviously these are all things Bravo can use in those particular loadouts. So what other options do we have for that then, just to cap it off?
Ornate Tesson.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that we will use that.
Absolute hammer and fan Bravo.
Yeah. Just fanning himself while he's hitting you on the edge.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just like this.
And another one that is not really useful is Rotten Old Buckler. That's
Oh
just
man, that's a
irrelevant
sick
in my
card.
opinion.
Rotten Old Buckler, that's really good.
Not
Yeah.
anymore. Steel
Uh,
Grey Buckler, totally.
Yes,
Yeah, well, it's 3 health,
Totally
isn't it,
got rid of it.
essentially? Yeah.
it's 3
Yeah,
health.
yeah.
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 Best card in
then-
Dynasty. Best card
Yeah.
in Dynasty.
Without a doubt.
And
Hand
then
down.
then I would say no. The best card in Dynasty is Buckle.
I do like Buckle. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we also have another shield from Dynasty, which is Seasoned Savior.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't like it at all.
Yeah. I like it really much because I think this card will be only good in PvE. Because you can say what you want. The strategy behind it is to take 1/1 counter away in your turn and then be able to block for 2. And the next turn, take 1 away again, and so on. So the strategy is just to repair your equipment and block with it. And I think with the hero ability from Joji, this can be very good in a PvE battle. You can go full ham tanks.
Yeah.
That's
My
why
only
I
issue
think
with
it's
it is
interesting.
there's only the red version of the card that works on it. So the remove a -1 counter. It's only the red version of the card that works on it, because the others say base value, which it's got base value of 3. So the yellow is base value of 2, blue is a base value of 1. So they don't work on it.
The thing is, you have different equipments. You still have the tectonic plate.
Oh yeah.
So you will repair those as well, and you also have the card Never Yield, where you can take away counters in general.
Yeah.
So I think this will be interesting if you can bring it up to 3 and then just block out a very big attack from a boss monster or anything. I can't see that anybody uses that in a competitive or in a PvP setting, because it's just too slow and also too inconsistent.
That's what I mean. But, yeah, I mean, like in a PvP environment, you don't want to be wasting your own time trying to defend better with something that defends suboptimally up from the off.
Exactly.
So yeah, what you said about, you know, designing for PvE, maybe we are starting to see that already for certain things, especially in the supplementary sets as well, because obviously this was in Dynasty.
And also the card Never Yield looks like it's totally bad. From a PvP standpoint, it's not playable. But if it's PvE, you might get something out for everyone. It also, like Caution, looks like trash in PvP, but in PvE, Caution can be a very good passive buff for everyone.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Good shout, actually. Yeah. Yeah, because like the text on this, for instance, of Never Yield, if you have less life than all other heroes, you gain 2 life. So you can essentially just, if you're on the less health, you're the tank, you're taking all the damage, you can still come back into it again, and remove your counters from your shield, so you can still tank more damage, and that's what you're doing for the party, isn't it? You're tanking damage for the party essentially.
And when you're on Joji, you can also draw aggro from their attacks. So if the boss monster is attacking your Rune Blade, you can just say no, you come to me. I'll block it. I lose life, and I'll gain back life in the next turn, so I can block again. Which I can imagine will be a very, very pleasant way to play, because I like blocking, and if I don't need to attack, because that's the thing that the other players do, it's even better.
Well, there we go. That's it. Watch out for future PvE content where Pascal plays a fucking absolute paladin. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all the offhands, isn't it?
We forgot about a very important one, Rampart of the Ram's Head.
Oh, of course, yeah, Rampart.
Yeah,
but we
both legendaries are still there. I mean, Stalagmite is also just usable for Star of the Show.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think
Living Legend format.
Yeah. And I think Star of the Show can possibly use it very efficiently if he goes in more aggressively. If he goes full casino, I think you should use
casino. What does that mean?
Yeah, Casino Bravo, because you need 3 elements on your hand for the effect.
Oh, Casino. Yeah. Right, yeah. Cool. Casino Bravo.
And Rampart of the Ram's Head will be the offhand of choice if you are going to use are going to play Captain Bravo.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah. Yeah. So I think obviously the best hammer in competitive opinion is Anothos for now.
Yes. For now.
That's it.
Bravo For Bravo.
For Bravo Showstopper, which is the only active Bravo in CC at least, and still around in Blitz as well, of course. Then we go to Titan's Fist as number 2.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Cool, and then Sledge is number 3.
Exactly.
But yeah, not.
Then Talishar is number 4.
Oh yeah, of course. Talishar.
It's not a hammer, but it's a weapon that Bravo can use.
He can use, but yeah, it's a bottom tier. Oh, at least Sledge wins over Talishar. That's good.
Yeah, it's not the
woohoo. Yeah, brilliant. But yeah, thank you very much for everybody who's tuned in for another episode of Bravo Bros. They're going to be, again, like this, more focused on different topics going forward with certain little tangents, here and there, as we've done today. But thank you very much for everybody who's tuned in. And just to round the table, where can people find people's stuff and all that good stuff? So we'll go around here. So Pascal, you're first, mate.
Okay, I can be found on Twitter at Supperworm. And also on YouTube, the channel is D-React. I started to write something down for me to go more in depth of the competitive way to play Bravo.
Mm-hmm.
Also some matchups and so on.
Fantastic.
So you can be tuned in for that as soon as I put it out.
Yeah, good. And obviously the links will be in the description box below to your channel. And last time I did link your podcast as well, Tom, with the chat. So if there's anything you want me to link in the box, then let us know. But where can people find you as well?
Big Boss 010 on Twitter and Big Boss Book Club, Facebook, Instagram, and Hive.
Hive, nice.
Oh yeah, Hive. I also have that. I remember
yeah, I do have it as well. Brilliant.
Great.
But yeah, it's still there. I checked yesterday. It's still there.
It is still there. Yeah, I just need to check actually because I don't know if anyone ever posts on there anymore. Do they? Or have you posted on there recently? Nah.
No.
Yeah, it was very much like a backup plan, wasn't it? Just in case Twitter died when Elon took over.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
Yeah. That's pretty much it for today, so thanks very much, everybody. I've been Az from Go Again Gaming, where you're watching this, and yeah, we'll see you in a few weeks to do it all over again with another topic, and I'm sure it'll be fun nonetheless, no matter what we speak about, because this is all about just enjoying, learning, and informing people about Bravo Showstopper in the main, at least. There might be another Bravo in the future, but who knows? We'll see.
I mean, maybe a young version of Bravo Star of the Show.
No.
No. Please, no.